Hey, so now let's give some color to these clones. I want to give a random color to each clone. Um, so the easiest and fastest way to do this is with a random effector. So with a random effector, I'm generating a random number. In this case, the random number is applied to the transform, right? Sorry, to the position, right? So if I move this in Y, they go both up and down. But I want this to be applied to the color. So if I turn off the position and turn on the effector color, I can see that I have a random color here. But this is not correct because the effector by default has the minimum to minus 100, exactly because I want usually when I move the clones, I want them to go either up and down. But in this case, I actually don't want that to happen to color, because then we'll have like negative numbers on the color, and that doesn't work. So this is what I want, right? So let's turn off the position, and now it's working like expected. So yeah, so if I render this, yeah, we have a random color. So let's create a shader and see how we can bring this information into the shader. So I just need to apply the shader to the cloner and just bring a user color user data, and now select color here and just plug this into the diffuse. So yeah, so it's working. So let me just create a dome light so we can see that this is actually working properly. You can see the reflection, so it really has the shader there. Okay, so but now I want to customize this, and there are a few ways we can do this. I want what I mean by customize, I want my own palette. I don't want just some random colors. Okay, the first thing that you might think that works is creating a ramp here and just bringing that ramp into the render like this, right? But it seems like it's working, but it's not working. And if I load this, for example, you can see that there's no red here. So it's missing the values closer to 1. So this is 0 and this is 1. Okay, I could just, create a planner and a field, and like I could go and create a more complex system, but the easiest way is actually to use, instead of the user data color, I use a scalar user data. Okay, let me rephrase that. Instead of a color user data, I use a scalar user data. So the scalar grabs only values from 0 to 1, so there's no color in here. So if I put this here, it's black, of course. There's no information coming into here, and I can't put color here, so nothing happens. And I have no color in the list, but I have a parameter called weight, and this is the one that we have to use. So if I choose weight here and then go to the random and just I don't need effector color, I only need the value that the random is generating, like a random value, and I just need to pull this to 100, and now I have a proper randomization value between 0 and 1. So now if I plug in this here and this here, I get a proper random in my clones. So now, as you can see, it picks up a bit of the red, a bit of the blue, and the colors in between. Okay, so how can we do this in Houdini? So let's see. Okay, so I have a cloner here. I can say that. So like I have a copy to points, just a box, a grid, and then a copy to points here. I'm gonna actually put this to default. This is the default state. So now, well, the most logical thing is also to create, you know, probably some kind of randomization, right? But the caller node has a random option. So if I turn it on and come here to constant, I can just turn on random and I get some kind of randomness, right? So what's happening here is that it's picking up the points and applying a random color to each of the vertices. So to avoid that, I need to choose here pack and instance. And now I have a random color. So if I render, nothing will happen because it doesn't render what's there. I will need to apply shader. So let's see how we can do that. So I've divided this into, I'm gonna just close this. Okay, so this is what I have. I have the main, you know, object context here. So, and I have all my clones here. So now I want to divide this in two so I can have the shaders under this. So I just split top bottom here. And now I need to make sure that this is ticked on, you know, like this. It's pinned, so the windows are pinned, because if they aren't, they all show the same thing. So if I just go in here, they all change, right? But I want to pin this window to this a geometry context, and I want to pin this one to the material context. Okay, so now I want to create a material, so let's do that. So I start writing rs material, and I have a few options here, but this is the one I want, rs material builder. So it creates like a VOP network with my material inside. The materials are exactly the same as in Cinema, so I will add a user color user data here and apply this to the diffuse. So nothing is happening. No, actually, yeah, it is. Sorry, I thought this was empty, but now it comes already populated with CD, which means color. So it's picking up the CD attribute that this is creating. I think it was not here. Yeah, it's created. You can see here the information about the object and all the attributes that the object has. So it has like an attribute called CD and an attribute called P, which is position of the points. So this is the one that we are using. So and we are fitting it in here. There's something weird with the normal, so I'm gonna add a normal and re-render this. Okay, and I'm gonna go up a level and create a dome light. Right, so just for you to see that this is exactly like in Cinema. So now let's go in. Okay, I have a random color, but I want to control that. So what about creating a ramp here? And let's use infrared. Okay, I have the same problem. I don't have any, most of the, like, I have more of the middle, the colors in the middle. I don't have red, I have like an orangey thing. So the values coming from this are not correct. So what I've done here is that when they were not correct, I just, you know, turned off color, and this effector, you know, was just gave me, instead of giving me color values, it just gave me the raw randomness, the raw 0 to 1 value. So I want that from here, but I can't do it with this, right? At least I don't know how. So the random, I'm sure I can with some ramp attribute from color or something, but or even random from attribute if I put color here, but no, it doesn't work. So I don't want this node actually. What I want is, I don't need color, I need the value. I need a black and white value. So and I also not going to use the user data color, so I'm going to use the scalar, right? So let's put it here. Actually, let's put the scalar here so you can see what's actually happening. So now it's, you know, trying to read the color. We don't have any color attribute here because we deleted that node. I want to create my own custom attribute. So if I create an attribute randomize, so attribute randomize, it comes by default populated with CD, and I don't want that. I want to create my own attribute. So I'm going to create an attribute called R&D, right? And this attribute R&D will have only one dimension, so we'll have it will be a normal float, and will be between 0 and 1. So now I want to feed that here. So I just come here and do R&D. But you know, somehow it's not working. If I come here and I show this, it works. You know, this plane is actually getting that randomness, you know. But when I get to the copy to points, you know, they are here, but they are black. Even if I just grab this guy and put it there, you know, nothing happens. So what I need to do is actually to untick the pack-in instance. In this case, the pack-in instance doesn't work. So because it's using the points, I guess, using the vertices. I don't really understand why this happens. So anyway, if now I plug this guy with the ramp in the middle, I get the perfect randomness that I was looking for. So just generate a new attribute between these two values, between 0 and 1, and then make sure you turn off the pack-in instance. Actually, by default, is turned off. And then you create a shader, create a ramp, and the user data. Don't forget to bring the attribute into it. And that's it. I hope it was helpful. See you in the next tutorial.